Guys, these were the exact steps that I took last night, only to find one of my aquariums literally bursting at the seams. What is going on, guys? My name's Anthony. Welcome back to another video. Actually, a pretty unexpected video. And I figured this would be a good opportunity to maybe make a little bit of an educational-ish video. So what do you do when you walk out and you find either that your aquarium has exploded, the center brace has blown apart, and your rectangular tank is turning into an oval, whatever it may be, what the heck do you do? Well, like I said, guys, this exact thing actually happened in my fish room that we are building right now last night. If you've been a subscriber to Unconventional Aquatics for a while, you guys know what's going on in here, and you know with the camera facing the way it is, something looks out of place. Right, the tank right here that used to be right here is missing. There is a 150-gallon stock pond in its place. Not that I wanted it to be there, but last night, which is the same night I released the video on the setup of this 150-gallon aquarium, I was laying in bed. My wife came in here to change over some laundry and calls me on the phone, which is weird enough, and says, your dividers in your tank are knocked over. You might want to come check it out. I figured the jaguar cichlids knocked the dividers over trying to get to another fish, so I walked out only to find this rectangular tank in the complete shape of an oval. At first glance, the tank looks fine, right? If you didn't know any better, maybe you were just getting into fish keeping, you would think that this tank would be capable of holding water, right? And yeah, it'll hold water about a quarter of its volume. So as I'm approaching this tank that used to sit right over there, I'm coming at it from this angle, and I notice that the panels, the front and back viewing panels, completely bowed out, like literally almost in an oval. I so wish I could have got this on camera, but you guys know me that I've been around for a while. I go into crisis mode when stuff like this happens, and the last thing I think about is whipping the camera out. What happened is, quite obviously, our center brace decided to snap. But upon further investigation, it looks like the crack started back here. So I don't know if the seals in the back of this tank were going out, and I'm not talking about your inner seals. I'm talking about the seal here that holds your two panels together. Now, this is clearly an older tank with that wood grain trim on the front, but all in all, it appeared to be in good shape when I picked this thing up for only $5. So this crack formed. I must not have noticed it. I don't know if it happened over time or all at the same time, then causing this to blow apart. Now, guys, what's more ridiculous is the gap when I found this was, no kidding, 2 inches apart between end to end. That's how much this tank was blown out. The top seals, I don't know if you can really see it, but about 2 inches down on all 4 corners, our top seals are blown out. So this tank really can no longer be used to hold water at its full capacity. So what do you even do in this instance? What I did was I had my 150-gallon stock pond you see right there sitting just outside this garage door. I was cleaning it out to bring it back into the fish room to set it up to bring in more fish. I ran outside, drug this pond in, I sat it right in front of the tank, siphoned the rest of the water out because we lost a good 5 gallons of water just from this thing blowing its seals. So I siphoned all the water out as fast as I could. In the meantime, you know I had that tank divided because there was fish that weren't getting along. Switching this camera around, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There's 2 milk crates in here, and then there's some open space. You see a little rock formation there. That's actually separating this pond into 2s for right now. So we have a total of about 60 gallons of water in this pond. And I'm keeping it that way for right now because that rock pile is high enough to where fish can't swim over it. I mean, these jaguars could jump right over it, but there's a jaguar cichlid on both sides, the Jack Dempsey right here, and then a fish I haven't shown you in here, so I'm not even going to spoil that one yet. So that's exactly what's going on. I had to rush and separate all of this. There's no telling when, how bad your tanks are going to blow when they do. You may fish keep a lifetime and never experience it. And this could have been your very first fish tank that you ever had bust open. Now, I've had seals blow before, but I've never actually had a center brace blow apart before, ripping all 4 seals on each side. So this was a new one for me. So there's no telling when it's gonna happen, but what you gotta do is if your livestock is alive, think quick, transfer everything over. I simply siphon the tank water into that pond, threw the heaters over, threw the sponge filters over, got those fish in a container that was obviously holding water. Because if I left the remainder that was in here, we would have had a big, gigantic mess in the morning. There's no telling if those panels would have completely blown off because it was just about 2 inches down on every side. So that water had already exited the tank, but it was still blown out. So I don't know what would have happened. But the point is, you got to get your fish out if you even have the time. You know, things in life generally don't happen when we want them to. So for a lot of people, their tanks blow whether at work or on vacation or sleeping. So if you get lucky, like I did, act quick so you can save your livestock. But what do you do with your tank? There's multiple things we could do with this tank. I strip it down, clean the panels, rebuild it, and turn it into a brand new 55-gallon tank. I could do that, but my priority is getting the fish room built first. That hinders those plans. So I'm not even gonna worry about that. You could break it down, cut the glass up, make your own custom tanks. Again, too time consuming. Or you could just throw the tank away. What we're gonna do, it's a 55-gallon tank. So let's say half of that, or around, what's half of 55? I don't know, 20 something. 25-ish gallons. We are going to use this right underneath of our 150. I love my trash can sump, but we're gonna use it elsewhere. It's good to pull it out so I can actually review the build with you guys. Maybe we'll build another one side by side because I know a lot of you wanted to see the build of that filter. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna I'm gonna touch up those seals. I'm gonna build a wooden brace to hold those panels in, and we're gonna stuff it under there and use it as a sump. It's almost like that's what it wanted to be used for. So guys, that was my night last night after releasing the 150-gallon build video. Definitely unexpected, but hey, luckily it happened. Luckily my wife caught it. Thank you, Miss UA. And we were able to save all those fish, save the tank from blowing apart more. Just crazy. So I'm heading over to A Tropical Reef tomorrow, and hopefully they're gonna have some goodies that we can put in this 150-gallon tank. You know, guys, on the topic of blown out tanks, I would love to hear your guys' own tank blowing stories. I know some of you have some crazy ones, and I'd love to hear it because I'm just in that mood right now. Well, guys, that was this unexpected video. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned a little bit something, and if not, you know, maybe you just enjoyed hanging out with me. So I appreciate every single one of you watching, and next time you see me, I'm going to take you on a tour of that big monster fish pond we have in the backyard. I'll see you guys on the next video.